high school class project, my teacher told me it's unrealistic being a CEO. It's been my dream to be a CEO since I was 10. So I told her, it is realistic. Follow me on my journey to learn what it takes to become a CEO. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Realistic CEO Podcast. Today we're doing a special edition of the Future Leaders. So today we have Ted. How are you doing today, Ted?
Dude, thanks so much for having me. I've been watching your show, seen it grow, and I've seen a lot of the guests that you've been having on recently, and a lot of very inspiring people, including yourself. So it's an absolute honor to be here, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming on. I appreciate
Absolutely. Yeah.
So for the people that don't know who you are, can you kind of tell us a little bit about yourself?
Absolutely. I work over at a Western Massachusetts news station called WWLP 20's, and over there I am a news producer. So yeah.
How did you get into this industry, and was this something that you always wanted to do?
It's kind of weird because I never thought that when I was like younger and stuff, I always wanted to go on TV and stuff, but I never thought I would end up in local news. Especially, it's funny because when I was growing up, we used to have 22 News on our TVs and stuff. I never thought that I would work there one day, but I went to school at Western New England University over in Springfield. I got my bachelor's in communications and media and journalism, and over there I networked with a ton of people, and I ended up getting a job over at 22 News through some of my connections. So yeah.
That's awesome. You kind of talked about you grew up watching the news, you've seen it, and now to know that you're the person behind the scenes, making sure that the news is running and all that. How does that make you feel?
It's really cool. I have a lot of influence in getting the community, showing what Massachusetts is, because, and I've said this in the past, local news is a public service, and for people outside of this area trying to learn more about Western Massachusetts, local news is a great way for them to learn, and it's one of the first places they go and see. So it's really cool in that sort of sense. It's also not what I expected it to be like on the other side of the camera. You get to interact with all types of people, and both inside the station and outside the station. It's really cool to get to meet some of the people we get to interview too. One of my important things there is to find the people that don't get the attention that they deserve and get them the spotlight they deserve, because we have some amazing, talented people in this area that deserve recognition.
You said you want people to look at Western Mass as...
We have an amazing community out here. When people, I think, outside of, especially outside of New England, when they think of Massachusetts, they think of only Boston. But we have Springfield, which has a ton of history, and we have surrounding cities that really influence American history. So yeah.
So when you are looking and finding a story to feature, what are some things that you're looking for?
Obviously, we really want to start the shows with some of the hardest news. So we communicate with our local police departments, and that's a lot of things that a lot of people like want to know, and it gets a lot of attention. So we always see the craziest news stories. We talk to our police. Sometimes we even hear it on the police scanners. We have police scanners, and sometimes if it's not a reporter, sometimes I'll go out to the scene and try to figure out what's going on. If it's a huge fire or an attempted robbery or something. And I've done both of those types of stories. And there's this one time, it's funny, there's like an attempted robbery that we heard on a scanner over the weekend in East Hampton. And we went to the place, and it was just pitch black, no cop cars. And I think it was a false alarm, but it was like really scary to be like, me and the photographer being like, I don't think this is a good idea. I think we got here before the police. So you got to be careful, man. And sometimes you end up in crazy situations. You want to be safe, but you also, you want to get the story behind it, you know? So it really is like a public service in that sort of sense. Yeah.
That's awesome. So what has probably been like your favorite story that you've covered?
My favorite, I have so many favorites. When I get people to, like I said, like getting people the spotlight they deserve. It's really cool. For example, I remember one of my good friends, Anne-Marie Harding, over at Max Tavern. She puts on events for networking with the business community like Max on Mondays. And one day I showed up and surprised her with the microphone and camera, and we promoted it for her. And it was just really cool because she's doing a great service for the local business community, and it deserves attention. So has another good friend of mine named Bill Cole with his nonprofit Living Local 413. And so is you guys with the Standout Truck and your Realistic CEO brand. I think it's really cool. And besides like favorite stories, I'll tell you like some of the most, like, I shouldn't say favorite, but like I have some insane experiences. There was this one time, I think it was in January, it was negative 10 degrees outside. And we heard on the scanner that there was like 4 buses that were caught on fire at 3 a.m. And me and a photographer had to go out there. And there was 4 buses on fire near Interstate 91 in Wilbraham, right on the border of Springfield. And it's like, it's negative 10 degrees outside. How does a fire start? It turned out the buses were electric buses, and that the fuses like bursted like with such the cold air and stuff. But I just remember being out there at 3 a.m, freezing out, my fingers like looking like blue and purple. Am I gonna lose my fingers? But like stories like that, it's insane and it's really cool to see these insane stories turn it into something that you would see on TV. And it's a lot of timing skills. Time is your worst enemy in those. You want to get it out as soon as possible before your competitor stations. I also want to shout out like our competitor station, Western Mass News. They'll beat us to some scenes and stuff, and props to them when they do that. And I like working with the other news stations and stuff. I think that it's really cool that we can sometimes work together on stuff.
So, what is some advice that you would give to a young person that wants to get into journalism?
He gets into journalism. Definitely in college, you definitely want to like build like a whole like compilation video of like different projects that you do like during college or like during whatever time before you end up applying to the job. So you want to have a compilation, and you want to practice to be on camera and talking to people and stuff. And one of the things was I wanted to be like a reporter. I didn't have that. So I ended up being not on camera and being a producer. So if you want to end up on camera, you definitely got to make sure that you're in front of the camera with the microphone, and you got to practice interviewing people. I really like talking to people. So if you really enjoy meeting new people and talking to people, this is a great field for you. The one way I did that was working in local radio. So, yeah.
So, you said you just get experience beforehand so that when you apply, people can already see the work that you've done.
Absolutely.
So, you kind of
And
talk
I think
about,
that's for anything. You want to get as much experience as possible.
Right.
Yeah.
So you talk about going on radio. So what did that look like for you to make sure you got the experience that you needed so that you can do what you do today?
So I first started out like in college radio at my school, Western New England. Me and my best friend Jake Boltrain did a show called Stop and Drop Radio, and we interviewed all types of people. We interviewed like comedians, we interviewed athletes, we even interviewed a magician one time. So we interviewed all types of people, local politicians, and that experience at my college turned into an internship at a real radio station, Rock 102, and I was on the morning show over there. And similar to WWLP, I used to grow up listening to Rock 102 on the car radio. So when I met like Mike Baxendale or like Pat Kelly, I would hear their voices and I'd be like, yo, your voice sounds very similar. So it was weird, but I didn't match the voice to face right away. But it was really cool in that sense. And those two especially, they've been in this area for a long time. But yeah, so it was a really cool experience. Yeah.
What has been the biggest lesson that you've learned so far in your career?
The biggest lessons I've learned so far, I was actually telling your friend behind the camera that you want to enjoy the time that you have whenever in the moment that you are in now. You want to make the best out of any situation. when I was in college, I was rushing to get out of school and getting into my job. I wish I had those moments back in college where I didn't have to worry about a single thing and just like having to go to class and stuff. The time goes on, you get more opportunities, but sometimes life can get harder. So you want to cherish every moment you have, and that's the most important thing. Yeah.
What are some future goals that you have for your career?
Some of my future goals, only keep making amazing stories on the news, I would say.
Yeah.
Definitely really identify what Western Massachusetts has, because I love this area. I grew up in this area. I was born in this area. And definitely expand my field in public service. I don't know if I want to stay in media or not. I'm trying to figure out that decision myself right now, but right now it's been a lot of fun. Another goal would be like really determining what direction I want to go into, but that takes time, and you can never stress about it. You want to see what the experiences you have now. The less stress you have, the better.
So this is amazing because we've met throughout the years at so much events, and we always wanted.
And I've seen you grown so much, by the way. You've been doing amazing work. And with this book, I know how proud your dad is of you. So it's really cool to see you like growing up and just seeing you do so much great things.
Thank you.
Yeah.
My dad always talks highly of you too, about how he's seen you grow throughout your career.
I worked with your dad, and when I was working with him when I was in college, he taught me some of the most important lessons that some of my professors didn't even teach me. So I would say your dad was like one of my favorite professors, even though I didn't have him for a college class, but he was an amazing teacher, and he still is. Yeah.
So is that something that you kind of want to do in your future? Be somebody that is guiding the next producer?
One of the things is I would love to be like a professor, but I don't want to go back to school. And in sort of some way, maybe being like a program or something to teach younger. One event I saw you recently at was like a network and a coach event. That type of stuff is really fun. And you get to meet some up-and-comers too through that.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, so with this edition, I don't want to be the only one asking questions. So like, if you have any that you want to ask,
like you and I, we're both like young guys, like trying to make a difference. Tell me how it's been for you. How is it? When did the idea come from when you wanted to write this great book?
So for me, I've always wanted to help people. That's been something that I knew I enjoyed doing from like a very young age. And I honestly think it came from growing up. Both my parents were foster parents, so we always had foster kids come in. So I think that allowed me to know I like helping people. Yeah. So then when I had the opportunity to write this book, A Realistic CEO with my dad, after my high school business teacher told me it's unrealistic for me to become a CEO.
Your teacher told you?
Yeah.
You know what you did? You took that pain, right? Because it probably hurt a lot when your teacher that you go to every day, that gives you the assignments, that grades you, that really determines like your future, it feels like it made you really hurt. You turn that pain and you turn it into strength. And that's what you got to do in any situation. You never let anybody tell you no. It's like in sales and stuff. Like I hear a lot of people deal with the word no. I hate that word no. I hate the word no. You can't tell me no. I'm going to find a way. And that's what you're doing. So good for you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So from there, after my teacher told me no, that was unrealistic for me to become a CEO.
Yeah.
But that was like my big goal since I was 10. We ended up turning that negative experience into positive, where we co-wrote the Realistic CEO book. And then from there, that's where everything goes.
Teacher must feel really stupid right now.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was 2 years ago now. And after that, I've done 90 podcast interviews. I've distributed about 6,000 Realistic CEO books with 13 local businesses that partner with us to give back to the community.
That's amazing.
Started my own nonprofit, Realistic Lemonade, to help kids.
I gotta have some of that lemonade. I love lemonade.
Yeah, that's definitely something in the future where we want to.
Would you ever do a Mike's Hard Lemonade sort of thing?
Yeah, honestly.
Literally, your name's Mike, so it'd be perfect.
Yeah, definitely want to do something with lemonade.
Yeah.
Haven't really fully thought it out how exactly we will make it all work out, but we definitely do.
That's the thing. You can't like predict.
When
You can't have the full thing, but if you have an idea, keep chasing it, and like the puzzle pieces will come together. And that's how you got to look at life. And I feel like a lot of people just keep waiting for like the whole sort of blueprint to come together. But that's not how it always works. And 99% of the time, it doesn't work like that. So if you have a great idea, just keep going after it.
How old are you?
So I'm 23 years old, surprisingly. I'm only 23. Yeah.
That's awesome. And you're already producing news.
You know, it was surprising. There's a lot of young people. They hire a lot of young people to produce. It's a high turnover rate in the media industry, news industry, I should say. It's a high turnover rate because people like to travel all over the country and stuff. So many people that you see on TV may not even be from Western Massachusetts. And I think that's why it's really important to have some people on camera to be from this area, because you want to have someone that knows like Western Massachusetts. But it's really cool to meet people all over the country. People end up going to bigger markets. They end up going to markets that need more attention and stuff, and they can really make an impact in those areas. So meeting people like that, it's really cool. And young people too.
Yeah, I never really thought of that every reporter isn't gonna be from Western Mass that reported on the news, so they're gonna have different
I keep forgetting the saying working for you and stuff. It's like, no, you got to say working for you. 22 news, 22. Don't forget 22, not 20 news. Yeah.
I didn't even think about that. So yeah, how is that? Do you see any difference between reporters that are from Western Mass versus the ones that come?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. They'll say like the towns correctly and stuff, like Worcester, Leominster, not Leomeister. So it's pronunciation and stuff, or like maybe even knowing like certain people, like maybe certain like local leaders and stuff. And I got to give props to the people not from this area. They got to do a lot of learning. They got to learn this area in a short period of time, and props to them when they get it right. So yeah,
that's awesome. So before we continue,
yeah,
I'm gonna read the book that me and my dad co-wrote that we kind of talked about.
Yeah,
I Am a CEO, Realistic CEO. So it starts off with, in the sunny town of Dreamville, there lived a boy named Tony with a big, bright dream. One day, in Mrs. Parker's class, Tony announced, "When I grow up, I'm going to be a CEO, a Chief Executive Officer." Mrs. Parker smiled and said, "That's a big dream, Tony. Maybe think of something a bit more realistic."
Mrs. Parker, what's she talking about?
Tony's eyes sparkled. "But it is realistic. I have a plan," he said, with confidence. "I will read lots of books and learn about business," Tony explained, holding up a book titled Lemonade Book. "And I will practice by starting a lemonade stand. It will be the best in town," said Tony, while sharing a drawing of his stand. Mrs. Parker was surprised. "That's quite a start, Tony. But being a CEO is more than lemonade."
I don't like this Mrs. Parker. No.
"I know," Tony nodded. "I will meet and interview successful CEOs, business owners, founders, presidents, executives, and community leaders. I will learn from them. I'll learn to make good decisions and solve problems." Tony continued, "I'll also learn to be kind and help others, just like a good leader." Mrs. Parker smiled. "Tony, I think you just might be a CEO one day."
That's good. That's good. Good Miss Parker.
With a beaming smile, Tony said, "I'll do the LBW, and I'll practice the 5 types of work. They are work hard, work smart, work right, network, and teamwork." You'll see, Mrs. Parker. Years later, Mrs. Parker read a newspaper with a familiar face on the cover. Tony, CEO of More Than Lemonade Inc. She remembered the little boy with the big dream. He did it, she whispered with pride. Back in Dreamville, Tony, now a CEO, smiled. Dreams do come true with the 5 types of work, along with self-belief in action. The LBW, the long, lonely, boring work. And in his office, the drawing of his lemonade stallion hung on the wall. Remember, no dream is too big if you believe in yourself, are willing to work for it. Create a simple, realistic plan and follow it through to execution. Everyone has a special dream that can change the world. What's yours? And that's the book.
It's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So
I gotta ask you, like, when that teacher told you gotta be more realistic, like, how did you take that in when she first said that? Like, how did you take that in, man?
So when she said it, I just took it more as she had to see the vision,
Yeah.
because a lot of times when people say something like that, it's because they're having their realities of them not being able to achieve their dreams and they're trying to put it onto you. So for me, it was more of a, you can't see my vision that I already have in myself. So I didn't really think too much of it, because when people say something like that, so you can't really allow that to affect you, because then it is going to become unrealistic for you if you let that negatively affect you.
Do you think her saying that to you, do you think that made you want to work harder for your goals?
I think for me, honestly, a lot of times people will say that added fuel to the fire, but for me, it really didn't, because I always knew that's what I wanted to do. But what happened with that is it allowed me to create realistic CEO. So it just put me on track faster to my goals of becoming a CEO more than add fuel to the fire. It just allowed me to have an opportunity to turn that into my business.
I think it was a good thing, because you turned that experience into a great story for others.
Yes.
Shout outs to her for being hard on you, because things aren't easy, and it made you think realistic, and you really put your vision into reality and not just kept it as an idea. A lot of great ideas, they come in a lot of young people's minds and stuff, but they don't act on it. And the fact that you did is a good thing. And did you actually have a lemonade stand?
No, so what we did with the lemonade stand is my dad, he wrote a book,
Yeah, I remember.
the lemonade book. So Tony, he's learning from the lemonade book. So Tony started his business by doing a lemonade. But when growing up, I was like raking the leaves. Like that was my type of thing. I remember I had my dad go on Facebook and post that anybody, I'm looking to make some money out of raking leaves. Does anybody want their yard done? Or something along those lines. And then I had some clients through Facebook to rake their leaves and then get their yard clean.
I think that's really cool, because now that book is being like sent to all over the country. So your name's going all over the country.
Yeah.
And I think that what you're doing is making the world a better place. And that's something that I aspire to do as well. It's just, we got to make this world a better place. We're only here, so we don't even know how long we have. Like, time is like a measurement that we cannot determine. Every day we just got to do the best we can, and just sky's the limit.
So I have a couple questions that I want to ask you from the book, Realistic CEO. So we're going to go through all 5 types of work and what they mean to you. So the first type of work is working hard. So what does that mean to you?
You got to work hard even when people aren't seeing you working hard. Because when they see you working hard, or when they see you actually working hard isn't even that hard. You got to practice your craft, whatever you do. So, I started off my job working overnights. No one was seeing me work. I was there running the station by myself. And I was always making sure I was doing the best I can. And when people come in and they see, like, when I'm always working hard. Even when I'm not even working, I work hard. You gotta work hard, and it helps you grow.
That's awesome. So the next type of work is working smart.
You gotta play your cards right. Sometimes you gotta make sure you're working in the right direction. There's two types of people in this world. There's people that are gonna roll up their sleeves and help you, and there's people that are gonna take advantage of you. And I think that working smart is that you gotta work with the people that are gonna roll up their sleeves and help you, and not the ones take advantage of you. You gotta determine that, and that's when time comes in. Yeah.
Next type of work is working right.
Working right? Man, I'm trying to think. I think that's a good thing. You got to do the right thing. If you're working for something that doesn't have, I think if you have the right reasons to work for something, that's good. But if you're, like I said, trying to take advantage of some people or doing something wrong, it's not good.
So the next type of work is networking.
Network. I learned this from your dad himself. Network is your net worth. Especially if you have an idea, you got to share that sort of vision with other people. You can't just keep it in with yourself. And that's the thing with my job. That's why I like to give people the spotlight. When people don't have the attention they deserve for a great idea, it's like a tree falling down in the woods, in the middle of the woods, no one's going to hear it. So you gotta have the right network. And one of the greatest skills I have, I think, is social skills.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's like everyone needs to learn how to, especially in this time and age, everyone wants to work at home. Everyone wants to work on the other side of the screen. No, it's like go out and face to face. There's a different connection in that.
And then the last type of work is teamwork.
You got to work with other people. There's people with different types of talents. And that's definitely the thing, making sure you got the right team, the people that roll up their sleeves and they'll help you. But yeah, everyone's here for a reason in this world. And everyone has their own skills and their own professions. And I think if you're able to build the right team, you can do anything.
So the other thing, Tony, you started with the LBW,
Yeah.
the long, lonely, boring work. So can you kind of tell us about the LBW that you had to do inside of your career?
So like I was saying before, I was working overnights. I still am, but I'm actually going to be getting off of it by the end of this year. But so I've been doing overnights for about 1.5 years. But you know what? It's good because it taught me that no matter what time of the day it is, you can work. If you're working for something, it doesn't matter what time of the day it is. It doesn't matter if it's a holiday. It doesn't matter if it's a weekend. Time is the most important thing. LBW, long, boring work, it takes time to get experience. And when you're young like us, you got to get as much experience as you can. That's one of the biggest things, is building that resume.
So I just got one more question for you.
Sir.
Yeah. And it's, what's one fun fact about yourself that nobody really knows?
One fact about, I can wiggle my ears. And another thing, when I was like a kid, I could make this like perfect sound like a dolphin could, but I can't anymore because like my voice got deeper. But like I could make it was the weirdest thing, but like I think I can wiggle my ear. Can you see it or?
No, not really.
All right, never mind. Let's not use that fact. I used to be able to wiggle I don't know why I can't. Maybe I'm nervous or something. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
So, Mon, thank you again for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
I truly appreciate you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Appreciate you having me on.
It was awesome. This is the second episode we did the
I
feature.
don't mind being called a leader.
So, thank you again for coming on. And also, I want to thank every single one of you for all the support that you have shown me in this past year, my journey of becoming a realistic CEO. So ways that you can support even more is by going onto my website, www.realisticceo.com, and you can either shop, donate, or become a partner with us. See you in the next episode. Peace.